What is up, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I am Jeff Hartman. I don't have the picks. That's Pez, the guy next to me, if you're watching live on YouTube, which, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the Fans First Sports Network channel so you don't miss anything. We've got some big stuff coming with Pez's Picks. And if you're listening on the audio side, whether you're on Apple Podcast or Spotify, follow, subscribe so you don't miss anything. With that out of the way, the man with the picks, Pez, how's it going?
Jeff, we're making FFSN history. I believe it's our first podcast with cacti in the foreground, and we're here. We're doing some research. We had a little bit of work to do in Vegas. Now we're out in Arizona. My Wildcat wife, we talk about a lot. We got some meetings with the football guys. We're checking in because, as we know, transfer portal, whole new team next year, Jeff. We can't have a libido play unless they're a good team. I remind you of that. Okay. So we're gonna get to the bottom of this. These cactus, I don't know, they have some sort of name, Jeff. I forget what she was telling me, sequoian or something. I don't know, but apparently there's water in there. But I don't know how you get it out, Jeff. And it's a pretty hot place, 108 degrees. It's getting up to pretty shortly.
You're kind of like a meteorologist. Like you're always on location. You're in blizzard conditions up in the Northeast, and now you're out in the desert. So good for you. Hope you're enjoying your trip. Hope that Dead and Company concert was awesome.
The Sphere, Jeff. That's the lock of the year. The Sphere was unlike any show I've been to. It's very, very classy. It's very comfortable. There's no anxiety like you have at a rock concert. There's few people all junkied out or anything. It's classy. There's carpeting.
Wow.
The sound is better than any sound I've ever heard at a concert, and the visuals are self-explanatory. It's unbelievable. I mean, the Sphere it's another way that Vegas captures you, though, Jeff. You got a gambling 101. Pez is going to be doing a lot of videos. Don't go to Vegas, Jeff, to gamble. You can't gamble there. They lure you in with these things. The Sphere, you got circuses. Women are nude, Jeff. I don't know if it's legal around America, but in Vegas, the employees walk around naked. And for heterosexual male, I mean that's they're trying to disguise things, Jeff. You can't gamble around nude women. That's a big rule of ours.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind if I ever find my way out to the desert. But let's talk about our picks. The NBA Finals wraps up. The Dallas Mavericks were able to win a game. Nonetheless, the Boston Celtics end up claiming the series in 5 games. They win, I think, their 18th championship. Crazy NBA Finals. No one really saw this coming. What was your final take on that?
Jeff, that Boston team was puzzling all year. I mean, there were stretches they played like they did in the finals and were clearly the best team. And there were stretches where Boston, they just didn't look too good and very balanced. And I don't know, you got a lot of egos on that team and a lot of star players, and hats off to the coaching staff. I mean, they managed them perfectly, and they just took apart Dallas. Dallas did not have a defensive answer for that team, and they spread the ball around really well. And they kind of stuck it to us on a serious big pick, but I think that there was good value in that. And I still think he's the best player in the league. And Doncic, the guy's awesome. He ran out of gas a little bit, right? And his help wasn't really good. And Kyrie had a pretty horrible series. So, but the NBA, it's a tough bet, Jeff. The playoffs are way tougher than regular season in the NBA. You don't have the left-handed layups like half of the league is when you're a good team. So, the hats off to Boston. Great team, great championship team. Tatum, I'm happy for him. I like that guy. He plays hard.
And so here we have this. We're entering this period where the NBA's done. Like they're done. Obviously, college basketball has been done for months. The NHL, not that we bet on the NHL, is about to wrap up. And so you only have Major League Baseball until football returns in July. And even in July, you're not betting on training camp practices or preseason games. Nonetheless, we have a lot to talk about with MLB and a lot to celebrate. You've been red hot. My boy Paul Skeens keeps getting you wins out there for the Pittsburgh Pirates. What's your take on the baseball so far with your picks recently?
Jeff, we'll always give you a little, we call it a little taste in the gambling business, Jeff. You get a taste of every win from Skeens. I mean, you called it. The guy's awesome. I mean, he's the future of the league. And like we're seeing in a lot of sports, Jeff, you can now be a rookie and enter into these leagues and you become the alpha on the team. Never used to happen, right? Especially baseball. Yeah. Skeens, I mean, when Skeens went up to bat, they would hit him in the head or the ribs just to put that guy in his place. And I don't know, they celebrate cockiness and confidence, and I like it, Jeff. It brings a new energy into the game, and he's a power pitcher, and we love him. And you hit some points. Now, I'm in this desert of Arizona, Jeff, and I was out there this morning. We were climbing a Mount Lemon, this big lemon mountain, in Arizona. Arizona's the most mountainous state I've ever been to, Jeff, and I'm a skier. You know that, mountain guy.
Yeah.
The whole damn state's mountains, but it's dying. When you're in the desert, you feel everything's trying to kill you. It's like it's a dangerous place. So it's exactly what July is, Jeff. That you got to be careful with the baseball gambling. Teams, sometimes hit lulls, and you feel it in this heat, Jeff. You start to get a little bit complacent, get a little dehydrated. You half-ass stuff a little bit. So we're going to keep punching the numbers. You got to take a look at the pitching and the value, Jeff. We had 2 wins on Sunday or Monday, Pittsburgh and the Phillies, and we took the run line in both those games because both teams were such big favorites with solid pitching. Skeens, and I can't remember who with the Phillies, but they were like minus 200, which, if you bet 200, you win 100. So terrible odds, Jeff, especially for nothing games. So we hit the run lines, which were minus 1.5 runs. They had to win by 2, and we got plus numbers. So you're kind of flipping your risk, and your little cost benefit analysis goes into all this thinking with baseball because you're looking to make long-term investments, not hitting on one day and risking it all. So the action man, one of our go-to stat guys, Jeff. This guy's a numbers maniac. Sometimes we call him the mad scientist. So he hit me up with June 7th to 17th of June. So basically like a 2-week period.
Yep.
Faves that were minus 170 or higher were 27-6 against the spread and 26-5 at home. So dominant month for the big time teams in the league, Jeff, the teams that are having the best pitching. And favorites are lures a little bit because they're not going to win every game. I mean, you might lose 20 or 30 teams and be the best team, 20 or 30 games, be the best team in the league. So we got to manage that risk and keep finding the pitching advantages, and that's what we're doing.
Are your picks still? You were at a 90% clip at one point for Major League Baseball. Is that still accurate, or you slip a little bit?
Well, we're 13-3, Jeff. So quick math there. We're probably about 83%. Calculating a little bit here in the desert heat, I think.
Still
so
awesome.
Jeff, we're happy with it.
Yeah.
You got to pump the brakes. Can't spike the football with baseball, but you got to respect it, Jeff. My son and I were talking about it. We hiked out to some bridge in Sedona. This is a rich guy desert, Jeff. There's $1 million houses out there. We went to some Devil's Bridge, and I think I sent you a picture. You had to navigate out about a 3-foot wide bridge, about 1,000-foot drop each side. Probably bad parenting, Jeff. Erase this tape, erase this. But we talked about, my son's an accomplished mountain guy and skier, and he's been doing it since 17 months. He respects it, Jeff. We talk about you could die doing this, right? You got to respect it. You got to respect the game and the risk and going to manage all that. Now, same thing with gambling. We got to respect it's hard, baseball, and it gets more difficult as the season goes on. And you got to constantly work the data, and that's something that we do. It's a data-driven sport. I mean, it's a numbers game and looking for the little advantages when the risk is a suitable one. And we're not going to be laying minus 1,200 like we used to 20 years ago with Roger Clemens on the mound for the Yankees with Jeter, Jeff. And I remember those. I was with that action, man, and some nervous moments of our life, Jeff. You have $100, you have 1,200 to win 100. That's a big pinch in July. So we're not going to be doing that, Jeff. We're going to keep looking for the advantages, kind of like looking for sale items at a store, and that's what we have today. So we're recording on Wednesday. This pick is going to be going out live. We're going to be taking the Yankees again, who, that team's a powerhouse. I think the best 2 teams in the league are the Yankees and the Phillies, Jeff. And today we get the return of the best pitcher in Major League Baseball last year, Garrett Cole. He's had an injury. And, I mean, the number, I almost don't want to talk about it. It seems too good to be true, Jeff, but sometimes it is good. He's down to minus 155. That opened at about minus 185. And going up against a rookie pitcher for Baltimore. I love this play today. I think they're not going to risk this guy. I think he's got 5 years left at $35 million a year or something. So they're going to baby his injury, which I think they did. He had a great rehab start in AAA this week, and he mowed down some guys. I mean, of course, it's a different level hitter, but when you can get a pitcher the quality of Garrett Cole for minus 155, that's a value bet for us, Jeff, and that's what we're going to be going with today.
Okay. Now, in case anyone that's listening is like, well, how do I get more of these picks? You do a once a week podcast, and we might be changing that up in football season, but right now it's a once a week podcast. Go to at Pez's Picks, whether that's Twitter, X, or on Instagram, and you get a lot more picks, not just these picks that are once a week. And you get his thoughts, Pez's thoughts on gambling, how you make smart bets, when to lay off, when to go after certain plays. So make sure you check that out. But Pez, any other final thoughts on the Major League Baseball schedule or slate coming up?
All-Star break's coming up in a couple of weeks, Jeff, few weeks, I guess. So, that's something to recalibrate. And, teams start to bag it a little bit after the break sometimes. And managers get itchy, fingers. And so that's something we're going to be looking at and pumping into the system as we keep going.
That's a good point. Now, last week in the world of golf was a big gambling week with the U.S. Open. Your boys did not necessarily play out. I heard your picks and I cringed a little bit when I heard Sepp Straka. I was like, Sepp Straka? Now, he did have an ace. Good for him. Dude finished, I think, 12 over. Wasn't even close. You had Ludwig Oberg for a while, was hanging around. But, hey, he's a young guy, and it didn't pan out. Sure. What was your take on the U.S. Open?
And Straka, that guy could have – a lot of guys could have won that tournament, and you had to get lucky, Jeff. And there was a ton – the luck to win that tournament. Shebo got super lucky on Sunday. He played terrible. And, he had some great shots down the stretch, and obviously Rory did not. Aberg, that guy, one hole, Jeff. He triples, what was it, 16? The same hole Finau tripled. And
exactly.
I think we're contacting FFSN's legal department again, Jeff. We have a complaint. Bryson DeChambeau is a jackass. Okay?
Oh, come on.
Hamming it up for the crowd on the tee box on the U.S. Open. Disrespect to the game, in my opinion, Jeff. Jack Nicklaus would have punched him in the jaw. He would have dropped his big ass right there. Hamming it up, so he hit the driver. That's inappropriate to Ludwig Aberg. That guy's a Scandinavian. They're very respectful people, Jeff.
Oh, my God.
Guy triples that hole. It pissed me off. I hate DeChambeau. I think he's the only guy I still hate on the live. The other guys I pity, they stink, Jeff. The only guy that's playing well on that live is Sergio, who, had an average weekend, and Shambo. The rest of them, these guys are getting a little chubby, Jeff. They look a little puffy around the waist. And I think golf is Rory. I think Rory's loss, Jeff, is the death blow of the PGA. That was horrific. The guy.
Yeah.
Do I feel bad for him? Kind of, but I think he kind of has become a Tiger Woods, Jeff. He's taking this drama on in his life, and he's dating Balionis. Now he's back with his wife, and I'm seeing a Tiger meltdown starting to happen, Jeff. It's weird. Too much pressure on these golfers.
So you talked about Finau, and this will lead us into our Plays for Travelers Championship, which is a signature event. Like, this is a full field event coming up this weekend. Tony Finau with that triple bogey. People don't realize how well he played on Sunday because that happened on Saturday. His blow up happened on Saturday. He finished -4 in the U.S. Open, which was a tie for third. Like, he had an incredible finish to the tournament. As for your boy Oberg, he did not finish well. I'm trying to see where he finished in everything. Man, like, he really kind of fell apart. Yeah. And now here he is, +1, T12. So tied for 12th with Sergio, with your buddy Sergio. So let's shift our focus now to the Travelers. I have some odds here for you in case you don't have them in front of you. Scotty Scheffler, who finished +8 and barely made the cut. He did not look good last week. He's actually the odds-on favorite to win at +360. But there are some plays that I think have some value. Do you have any in front of you that you wanted to go over?
In Finau, what's his number at right now, Jeff?
Finau is +3,300. I like him as a long shot. That's a good bet. He's playing good golf.
Love him. I agree 100%. He probably played better golf than Shambo and Rory, except that one hole. The guy, he reminds me of Thigala a little bit and a little bit Aberg right now. Who these guys have game at the wazoo, but you got to learn to close. And took Finau some years, but he did learn how to do that, and he's won some tournaments. And I think he's coming out of the U.S. Open with some mojo behind him, right? And that guy was great, and he's a family guy. His family travels with him, and I think he has less distractions than like Rory and some of these other guys that are big celebs. And Tony Finau's got like 5-6 kids, and he's a dad. So I like that kind of energy coming out of the Open. The guy made probably $1.5 million, $2 million finishing third. So this guy's rolling in this week, easier field. driver is on point, and his putter right now is on point. And that, name of the game, driving it and putting it. Everybody's hitting short irons now. So I love him as plus 3,300. I think that's a bargain.
Your boy Ludwig Oberg is plus 1,400. I like him as a favorite. A couple other names just to note. So I said Scotty Scheffler's plus 360. Xander Schauffele's plus 750. Colin Morikawa, I actually like him a lot in this tournament. Plus 1,200. Victor Hovland, who, although he missed the cut at the U.S. Open, played really, really good golf on Friday. It just was too little too late after blowing up on Thursday. Here's a name I want to ask you about, Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay tied with Tony Finau for third place, and he's plus 2,000. You like him?
I don't like his energy, Jeff. He's a very negative guy. I was talking about it with my son and explaining to my son that, this guy's a multi-zillionaire and led a revolt in the locker room at the Ryder Cup complaining they weren't getting paid, Jeff. I mean, they probably got a $200,000 vacation when you add in the apparel, the food, you're bringing your wife or girlfriend, whatever the hell is with this guy. I don't like his mojo. Not a positive guy, Jeff. We like positivity in golf, and I can't stand Cantlay. It takes forever. I don't like him, Jeff. I don't like him. I sell him on everything, Jeff.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So yeah, go ahead.
Great game though. I mean, the guy can play. This is the one up in Boston, correct? So we're gonna have some guys going to the Red Sox games, and we're not gonna have Finau doing that. That guy's gonna be home. He's gonna be playing, Monopoly with the family, and I'd like that better for this weekend.
All right, so the Travelers will be this weekend. It's the last signature event of the year, and then there's only one major left in July, and that's the British. We'll get you geared up for that as it approaches. Last thing we want to talk about, and I know you're out there in the heat in the desert, so we'll make it brief. Euro soccer is underway. My Romanian boys they won their first match. They're the 3-0 win over Ukraine. They are the worst odds to win it all, so that's why I picked them. What do you think about this Euro soccer? And you were saying before we hit record, this is not the round to bet. That's coming up, correct?
Correct, Jeff. We're going to eliminate, ties in the knockout round. We got to be careful depending on how you're betting. I was in Europe and, I placed a bet one time. I can't remember what it was. One of these Euro championships, and my team won on penalty kicks, but I put down 2 win. You got to bet exactly over. You got to bet 2 win on penalty kicks, so you don't cover. So, but too much risk when you're betting 33.33% bets, win, loss, or draw in these early rounds. And Jeff, that Romanian bet, we should have been all over that. Romanians hate Ukrainians, Jeff. There's a lot of hate in European soccer where it goes back thousands of years, religion. I mean, it's personal stuff going on. So, pick on Ukraine. They're at war. They're out there playing a soccer tournament. They're at war against Russia. So, too much to add in, Jeff. How do you pump that in the algorithm, right? That's insanity. Knockout rounds, simpler bets. You're going to have teams with full effort. These European squads, they know they're already qualified in the next round. Sometimes they take a game off. I don't know how to explain that, Jeff. In the NFL, nobody's taking a game off. I mean, you get killed and fired, you get thrown out of the locker room. So we'll dial in more for these knockout rounds, Jeff. And we stayed away from the minefield of Euro soccer, the first round tournament.
Yes, it's going to be interesting, and I'll be tracking that from afar. I have Romanian heritage. That's why I said Romania in the first place. But still,
love it. Tough people, Jeff. Tough people.
You're damn straight.
Nobody's handed them anything in Europe. I mean, they got attacked from all sides, Romanians. I love it. It's like an angry Italian, in my opinion, Jeff. Good food in Romania, too.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Any final thoughts, Pez, before we go?
Well, let's, keep enjoying the summer, Jeff. That's the name of the game. Let's not get in trouble with gambling in June, July. That's stupidity. That's like saying I'm going to go to the track with 10 grand because I know what's going to happen. We don't know what's happening, Jeff. We got cactuses. We got they have some sort of weird feral pig that runs around here. It's called a jalopy or something. I don't know, Jeff. There's rattlesnakes out there too, which pisses me off. I have declared war on all snakes and all spiders, Jeff. We shouldn't have them in the world. Why should I have to take a walk and worry about my son or I guess my wife too, but she's used to these things. They can bite you and kill you, Jeff. I'm taking a walk around the block. So got to get out of this. Got to get back to Jersey. Feel a little bit safer. I feel like everything's trying to kill me out here. So if this is my last message to all you, bet with your head not above it, Jeff. And hopefully I'll make it out of this desert.
All right, Pez, next week you'll be back in the friendly confines. We look forward to that. In the meantime, take it easy, man. Enjoy it.
You too.